This is MHS Talks Education, the second annual Black School Psych Summit 2024. MHS recently attended the second annual Black School Psychologists Summit. Trends and themes of the convention focus on ways to energize and share knowledge within the community of Black school psychologists. Dr. Rasheeda Ouedraogo is a practicing school psychologist in the Denver Public School District. She spoke at the conference about 8 ways Black social-emotional learning redefines the role of Black school psychologists.
It's talking about the history of our profession as being psychologists. I start off with the apology that APA put out. And it's important that they literally laid out some of the things, a lot of things that they did to harm people of color, and their apology and taking accountability for it. So with that being the premise, we build from there.
Dr. Ouedraogo shared how important it really is for school psychologists to have some background knowledge of the Black lived experience for students.
I think it's something that everyone who's in the field should know, right? If myself as a practitioner am going to go and do any type of intervention, I need to learn what that intervention is, who is the intervention meant for, and is there success in it, right? Those are just the basic steps. But if I'm engaging with people of color, if I'm engaging with Black students, and I don't know the pathology when it comes to Black students, I don't know what works for Black students, if I don't know all the things that we're not being taught, I'm actually causing harm, not intentionally, out of my own ignorance, right? So how am I going to be a psychologist, invite a whole group in and not know their lived experience and what's going to help and what's going to harm? So that, to me, that's basic 101 that every university who are in the process of teaching, right, people how to become psychologists, how to become mental health providers in all its facets, there needs to be a section on that, because we encounter people of color, we encounter Black people on a regular basis, and we want to make sure that we do no harm.
The concept of a caste system in the United States is a framework used by some scholars and writers to describe systemic inequality that exists in American society, particularly as it relates to the historical and ongoing oppression of Black people. Dr. Ouedraogo discusses how this directly relates to the ways in which we interact with our conversations around mental health.
When we don't talk about the caste system, when we don't talk about racism, when we don't talk about discrimination, we're literally telling people to ignore their lived experience, that maybe they're anxious because of what's happening. But if we're telling them, I won't recognize that, I will recognize the anxiety, but what caused the anxiety, then how are we actually helping, right? I recognize the depression, but I won't recognize what caused the depression. That's a problem. Like, the first thing is that we got to recognize there's a problem, right? That's step one. And we can't even get to the symptoms of what's happening or what's going on if we don't recognize what's causing it. And then we can go through the process of building resilience, but at the same time, reconstructing, right? Reimagining a new system in which we don't have to have this system of oppression that continues to permeate within our society.
Dr. Ouedraogo hopes attendees walked away from her presentation feeling empowered.
I think that's the one thing that people don't understand, that they actually make a difference. If they understand when they walk into the room shifts because of their presence, and the minute they understand that, then the world is open to them. It's our belief that when I walk into the room, it's exactly the same, or the belief that I walked into the room and now the room is diminished. Who are you when you walk into the room? And that empowerment shifts every dynamic in which you come in contact with, whether you're talking with a family member, talking with a student, talking with a staff, talking with admin, talking with the legislators. When you walk into the room, you make a difference. And how are we harnessing that difference towards positivity, towards change, towards belonging, towards inclusiveness? I want people to walk out empowered in who they are and spread that empowerment to others.
Learn more about Dr. Ouedraogo and her work by checking out the links below. For more information on the Black School Psychologists Network, visit bspninc.com. Stay tuned for more videos in this MHS Talks Education series. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at MHS for more.